Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 35. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajaka Astotara Sata Shri Madhesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Premsa Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gora Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Jai Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 35. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharma swanushthitat swadharme nidanam shreya parodharmo bhayavaha. Shreya swadharmo vigunaha paradharma swanushthitat swadharme nidanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. Shreyan swadharmo viguna paradharmat swanushthitat swadharme nidanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. Translation and purport of Srila Prabhupada. Shreyan, far better. Swadharma, one's prescribed duties. Vigunaha, even faulty. Paradharmat, from duties mentioned for others. Swanushtitat, from perfectly done. Swadharme, in one's prescribed duties. Nidhanam, destruction. Shreya, better. Paradharma, duties prescribed for others. Bhaya, avaha, dangerous. Translation. It is better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though they may be faulty, than another's duties. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duty, for to follow another's path is dangerous. Purport. One should therefore discharge his prescribed duties in full Krishna consciousness, rather than those prescribed for others. Prescribed duties comprehends one's psychophysical condition under the spell of the modes of material nature. Spiritual duties are as ordered by the spiritual master for the transcendental service of Krishna. But both materially or spiritually, one should stick to his prescribed duties even up to death, rather than imitate another's prescribed duty. Duties on the spiritual platform and duties on the material platform may be different, but the principle of following the authorized direction is always good for the performer. One who is under the spell of the modes of material nature, when one is under the spell of the modes of material nature, one should follow the prescribed rules for particular situations and should not imitate others. For example, a Brahmana who is in the mode of goodness is non-violent, whereas a Kshatriya who is in the mode of passion is allowed to be violent. As such, for a Kshatriya it is better to be vanquished by following the rules of violence. Everyone is to cleanse his heart by a gradual process, not abruptly. However, when one transcends the modes of material nature and is fully situated in Krishna consciousness, he can perform anything and everything under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. In the complete stage of Krishna consciousness, the Kshatriya may act as a Brahmana, or a Brahmana may act as a Kshatriya. In the transcendental stage, the distinctions of the material world do not apply. For example, Vishvamitra was originally a Kshatriya, but later he acted as a Brahmana. Whereas Parasurama was a Brahmana, but later he acted as a Kshatriya. Being transcendentally situated, they could do so, but not as long as one is on the material platform. He must perform his duties according to the modes of material nature. At the same time, he must have a full sense of Krishna consciousness. Shreyam swadharma vigunaha paradharmat sanushtitat swadharme nidanam shreya paradharmo bhaya avaha. So, the key of understanding our situation is to understand our spiritual nature, is to understand that the purpose of life is to transcend the material body and mind and become attached to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Right now, we as spirit souls, we tend to follow the directions of our mind and intelligence. And we do what our mind and intelligence tells us to do. We see something beautiful or something valuable, then the mind says we accept it, we use our intelligence to get it, and we enjoy it. So everything is working upon the mind. The mind accepts and rejects, the intelligence evaluates the situation, and then the senses enter into the activity. But actually, there is a supreme intelligence, and the supreme intelligence is the intelligence of Krishna. I can use the intelligence of Krishna, taking it from the Bhagavad Gita, to understand that my sense enjoyment is dependent on the sense objects supplied to me by Krishna. Everything I have is given to me by a supreme or superior authority. We are born with nothing, we die with nothing, we cannot create anything, not even a grain of rice or a grain of sand. Everything is supplied to us. Therefore, we have a duty to relate to the order supplier. Therefore, Krishna says, Nitya Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam, that out of all living entities, out of all conscious living entity, there is one special conscious living entity, different from me and you and everybody else that we know. And then that living entity, so Eko Bhaunam Yo Vidadati Kamam. The difference between that one living entity and every other living entity is that one living entity is supplying the needs of all the other living entities. Eko, one, Bahunam, of the many, Yo, he, Vidadati, gives, Kaman, the objects of the senses. Therefore, we should always understand that from a real point of view, from the point of view of truth, from the point of view of knowledge, we are not the body, we are spirit, and we have a spiritual activity. However, the connection between the mind, intelligence, and the soul, and the material body is very, very, very strong. And it requires a gradual practice to become free from it. So what are these? Why is this connection very, very strong? The connection is made by our desires. For example, the desire for goodness, sattva guna, that desire for goodness pushes one to get knowledge, to get truth, to get peace of mind, austerity, cleanliness. These are all achieved in the mode of goodness. Then under the auspices or under the energy of passion, then we want to rule, we want to control, we want prestige, we want power. And then under the auspices, under the umbrella of ignorance, we simply want to enjoy our senses no matter the cost. So according to these three very powerful inclinations, very powerful forces which are easily experimented in the material world, Rajaguna, Sattva-guna, mode of goodness, Rajaguna, mode of passion, and Tamaguna, mode of ignorance. According to these three modes and the mixture of these three modes, many, many varieties of mentality, many, many varieties of bodies, and many, many varieties of situations are created. Just like I often give this example, if you take the three primary colors, RGB, red, green, and blue, and you mix these three colors together, you come out with unlimited, hundreds of thousands of different shades of color, originating by a mixture of these three primary colors. So the three primary energies of goodness, passion, and ignorance, when mixed together, create unlimited bodies and unlimited mentalities, unlimited desires for sense enjoyment, unlimited desire for ignorance, for goodness, for passion. And indeed, the entire material world is working under these so-called modes, called modes of material nature. Therefore, Krishna says, Chatur Varnyam Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. I have created the 4 divisions of human life, Guna Karma, according to quality and work, according to these modes, according to these energies. Krishna says, I have created 4 different kinds of people. The Brahmana, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya, and the Shudras. So Chatur Varnyam Maya Shrishtam, Krishna, Maya Shrishtam. Shrishtam means to create. Maya means by me. Chatur means 4, and Varna means classes. Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. These classes are divided. They are defined according to the guna, the quality of the work, and the karma, and the type of work that one does. So, Chaturvanya Mahasrishtam, Guna Karma Vibhagashaha, Vidya Kartaram Avyam. Krishna is not connected, he is beyond these gunas, because Krishna never forgets his position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Krishna comes into the material world, when he takes birth here, his Jama and Karma is Divyam, it is spiritual. He does not take a material body like we do. We take a material body when we come into the material world, but Krishna does not. And according to our nature, we are put into these 4 classifications. If one is interested in being religious, truthful, if one takes pleasure in these things, in cleanliness, in religiousness, in patience, in sense control, all these things are based on pure knowledge. So when one is interested in pure knowledge, then he is classified as a Brahmana, mode of goodness. When one is interested in power, in prestige, in being a leader, in controlling others, then he is classified in a mode of passion. He is a Kshatriya. When one is interested in making money, in property, in enjoying the material resources, that is a combination of passion and ignorance, he is called a Vaishya. And when one is not interested in anything except sense enjoyment at any cost, that is the mode of ignorance, Tamaguna. Now, the qualities of one who is interested in knowledge are Shamo, Dama, Tapa, Socham, Shantir, Arjavam, Evacha, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam, Brahma Karma Svabhavajam. The Swabhava, or the natural tendency, the natural work, the natural desire to do of a Brahmana is Shama, is peacefulness, self-control, Dhamma, Tapa, austerity, Shantir, peace, tolerance, Shamo, Dhamma, Tapa, Socham, cleanliness, Shantir, Arjavam, honesty, Evacha, Jnana, Vijnana, knowledge, wisdom, and Astikam, religiousness. If one is interested in these things, then he will automatically be interested in truth. It's not that a Brahmana is just by birth or by declaring himself a Brahmana. I am a Brahmana. No, the qualities determine who is a Brahmana. And the qualities of a Brahmana are automatically manifested when one is interested in these things based on truth, based on sense control, based on knowledge, and based on detachment from material things. You cannot be a Brahmana and be attached to material things. You cannot be a Brahmana and be attached to power, or to money, or to woman, or to enjoyment, sense enjoyment. No, that is not a Brahmana. There is a price to be paid to be a Brahmana. Therefore, in the social scale, which is like a pyramid, the topmost part of the pyramid, it is made of Brahmanas, very few, very little. As you come down the modes of material nature and you enter into the realm of the Kshatriyas, the pyramid expands, there is more. If you want to be a Kshatriya, then you cannot practice the Brahminical qualities, because you will need to use power. You will need to kill others, to fight on the battlefield, to be heroic, to be a leader of men. And if you're interested in sense enjoyment, if you're interested in enjoying the material nature, money, land, opulence, then there is a mixture of mode of passion and mode of ignorance. And when one is simply interested in enjoying his senses at all costs, then he doesn't even try. He doesn't have the qualities of the higher castes. He remains in the qualities, and as long as his senses are satisfied, then he will accept any job, any position. Like we see now, that in our society, everybody is being educated for being a Shudra. Everybody is educated to somehow use his education to enjoy, to obtain the objects of the senses, to enjoy material life. Therefore, he will work for anyone. He will not care for independence. He will simply care to enjoy the senses. This is the standard in the world we live in today. Practically speaking, there are no Brahmanas, and there is very few Vaishyas which control our present material situation in which we live, and everybody else is a Shudra. Therefore it is said, Kalo Shudra Sambhavan, that in Kali Yuga everybody is born a Shudra, and only people who come in a situation where there is samskar, or where there is a process of purification, just like the Brahmana. The Brahmana is not just a birth in a family. There are certain rules followed in a family of Brahmanas. Rules about, and they're called samskaras, so different ceremonies. They begin from the moment of birth. They begin from the moment of inception. It's not that a Brahmana has sex just for sense enjoyment. No, he has sex to produce children. And before the sex, certain ceremonies are performed, also for the Kshatriyas, because they know that through the sexual act, I will bring another soul into this world. Therefore, they pray to God that let me bring a good soul, that I may train him in spiritual life. I may train him to be a leader of men in the path of knowledge, or I may train him to be a leader of man as a king or a warrior. So these samskaras are very, very important. And nowadays there is no such samskara, therefore everybody is born a Shudra. And therefore there is so many problems in the material world. Here in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that once one is Krishna conscious, then it doesn't really matter in which he can act in any way. Like for example, Vishwamitra, he was a king, and he had a dispute with Vashishta, who was a very powerful Brahmana, and he was defeated by Vashishta. Therefore he decided to become a Brahmana, and he performed great austerities, but it was very, very difficult for Vishwamitra to become a Brahmana. He was even during his great austerities, Indra sent the Apsara, Menaka, and Vishwamitra fell down from his yoga practice, and they produced a child. Shakuntala was her name. It is a very famous story. And then by later on, Vishwamitra was able to transcend his quality as a Kshatriya, which are qualities as a Kshatriya, which are very, very Soryam, Tejur, Dhritir, Dakshyam. Soryam means that a Kshatriya is very, very eager to put himself in the front. He is very influential among men. Teja is very strong. Dhriti very determined, daksham, expert, yuddhachapya palayanam, is courageous, he never runs away from battle. Dhanam Ishvara, is charitable, Ishvara is a leader. These are the qualities of a Kshatriya, and Vishwamitra was able to overcome and to transcend these qualities and develop the qualities of tolerance, the quality of truthfulness, of religiousness, of cleanliness, of sense control, of austerity, which are Brahmanical qualities. And later on in his life, indeed, Vishwamitra became such a powerful Brahmana that he was able to go to the court of Maharaj Dasarath, the father of Lord Rama, and ask Dasarath to give him Rama and Lakshman so that he could take him into the forest so they could kill some demons which were disturbing the sacrificial performances of the sages in the forest. So he was given the two boys, and he took them to the forest, and then he took them to the king took him to the palace of the father of Sita Devi, Janaka, and then Lord Rama married Sita, and Lakshmana married her sister Urmila. So in this pastime, which is narrated in the Ramayana, we see that Vishwamitra became a very powerful sage, a very powerful Brahman. But that is the exception. Normally it is not possible to change. And what is the reason that Krishna is advising Arjuna not to change his quality, not to change his profession? The reason is that the purpose of life is not the profession you do. The purpose of life is to understand your relationship with God. If you're too absorbed in your profession, in being a Brahmana or being a Kshatriya or Vaishya, if you're too absorbed in these things, you will take another birth. It's another connection, another attachment to the subtle body. So Krishna doesn't want that. He doesn't want us to put our energy into something which is difficult to achieve on the material platform. He wants us to surrender to him. He wanted Arjuna to fight. Arjuna was proposing that I don't fight, I go to the forest, I become a sage. I practice non-violence, I will sit in the forest. But Krishna reminded him, it is very difficult for you to do that. Your entire life you've been trained to fight. Your entire life you've been trained to be a kshatriya, to be a warrior. That is your nature. You cannot escape this nature. And indeed, the leaders of society, the children of the kings and the brahmanas and the kshatriyas, they go to the Gurukula when they are 5 years old. And they are trained by the Guru in the science of spiritual life. And if the Guru is qualified, he can understand the nature of the boy, the nature of the child. And he can train him as a Brahmana or as a Kshatriya. Also in the story of Arjuna in the Mahabharata, Arjuna's teacher, his teacher of arms was Dronacharya. Dronacharya was a Brahmana, but he was doing the work of a Kshatriya because of circumstances. So there are so many examples. Another example Prabhupada gives is that Parasurama, who was a Brahmana, came to the level of, took up the activity and profession of a Kshatriya by killing the Kshatriya kings for 21 generations. There was a dispute between Parasuram and some local kings, and Parasuram could understand that the Kshatriya community had lost respect of the Brahmanical culture during his time. Therefore he challenged them and he killed them. And Prabhupada said that actually the European race or descendants of those Kshatriyas which were hunted and persecuted by Parasurama and ran away and settled in Northern Europe, Scandinavia, and from that the German race, European races came. So Parasurama was a Brahmana, but he acted as a Kshatriya. But that is the exception to the rule. Of course, when one becomes fully knowledgeable of his spiritual identity, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if whatever activity he does, because he is simply totally absorbed in understanding his relationship as a servant to Krishna, and he will do anything that is pleasing to Krishna. It doesn't matter what it is. So this is the principle of understanding how to become free from the contamination of the material world. We shouldn't act in such a way that again we will take another birth. Thank you very much. So we have some comments. Krishna Premavati, Dandavas Pranam, Hare Krishna. Atmavidya, good evening, Hare Krishna. Mandy Priyor, Hare Krishna. Jaya Madhavadas, thank you for your class. Thank you for listening. And I know, Jaya Madhava, you're in Russia, so these are very difficult times. I pray that Lord Nrsingadev will protect you, your family, and all the devotees, and of course he will. And we shouldn't be surprised that there is war, fighting going on. This is the material world. There's always fighting. The fight is to control the resources of nature. When you don't believe in God, you believe in satisfying your senses, then you think everything is up for grabs. Everything is your property. And the karma is the fight against each other. So we shouldn't be like that. We should remain Krishna conscious. We can be certainly sure that Krishna will protect us. It doesn't matter. Mami Partha Vyapashritya, one who is conscious of me, JPCU Papa Yonaha, even if he is born in a family of sinful people, Striya Vaishya Sata Shudra Tepiyanti Parangatim. Even women, mercantile men, Shudras, sense enjoyers, they can Param Gatim, they can come to the topmost goal of life simply by my mercy. So this is wanted, to be Krishna conscious. This is what Prabhupada taught. He taught us, simply follow my instructions. If we simply follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, it doesn't matter what material situation we're in. It doesn't matter under which material mode we are being motivated. If we simply take Prabhupada's instruction to the heart, he will protect us and we will transcend this material world. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.